Hi, we are talking about how you can make yourself more agile with doing proper reviews in your software development cycle. So, as you can see, there's a pictorial representation here that I'll be going through very quickly. Um, this is assuming that you have a story which has some kind of a description, and you're trying to finish that story in a given sprint. We'll start from the acceptance criteria. So you can see there's a product owner here. uh, there needs to be some kind of a review of the acceptance criteria itself at the product owner peer level. Once that is done, you can see that it kind of forks out into two streams here. One is a development stream that you see here on the left hand side, and then there's a QA stream, which is on the right hand side here. And also notice there's a little, on this gray line, what you're doing here above this gray line is before the sprint. You mean yeah, just like what you would do in a sprint planning. And below that is what you would be doing when you're actually executing the sprint or when you're sprinting. So as you can see, the acceptance criteria gets reviewed while you're planning a sprint. Um, Also, on the dev side, there needs to be some kind of a design review that needs to happen. It could be a group of development engineers who can come together, write some kind of a technical notes or do design review before they actually do the estimate. Same thing on the QA side. Somebody needs to do uh, some planning of how they're going to test. I like to call it mini test plan. So that needs to be done before the estimation is done. Okay, so that is a review that is needed. Okay, so the design needs to be reviewed, the test plan needs to be reviewed. Okay, once we do that on the dev side, we from the development side, we should write the unit test cases first. I'm assuming test-driven development, and those unit test cases should be reviewed as well. Okay, so you start with this acceptance criteria review. That was a first review, tech notes, design review, and then the unit test case review as well. Okay, it can be done by the peers in development. Please note that you haven't started writing the code, the implementation code yet. Once the unit test cases are reviewed, they are good quality and they have significant amount of coverage. Then you can start writing the implementation code. Once you start writing that code, it it requires a churn between the reviewer and the developer. If you are not doing peer programming, then I strongly suggest that you still do code reviews in short increments. It reduces a lot of it introduces a lot of review cycles, but it reduces a lot of pressure of doing one big code review at the end of all implementation is done. Okay, usually the story implementation requires hundreds and thousands lines of code. um, you don't want to wait that long before you reviewing. So the idea is to start reviewing things as soon as possible. Okay, so this is a cycle, and like I'm saying here in the message box, it is okay to have up to 10 short iterations of code review. Once the code is reviewed, there's also a need to do a review of the code from the static code analysis, tools and coverage point of view. These days there are so many tools available: find bugs, PMD, checkstyle, etc., which will allow you to do a good which will allow you to do a very quick static code analysis. So they can find bugs for you. They can find a lot of issues that you may have in your code. Okay, so don't forget to review that. Okay, let's come on to the QA side now. So once you start sprinting, you already have a mini test plan. Now you can look at the acceptance criteria, look at the test plan, and you can start writing functional test cases now. Okay, so once you write the functional test cases, it is also important you get them reviewed. So you can see here the product owner, development are involved in the review of the functional test cases. Do not miss this review. This is very important. I have seen a lot of issues that come up, and even escape defects that come up just because the test cases, the QA test cases, they were not properly reviewed from the functional standpoint. Okay, once you do that, it's also important test data. because you want to make sure it's not unusual that uh, you may have to write the same test case with different test data to check certain conditions. So get the the test data reviewed as well with the product owner. Okay. A couple of notes here for writing the test cases and finding the test data. Okay, it's better to use some kind of a test case management tool. Okay, these days there are many tools that are available that allow you to do reviews, pass comments back and forth on test cases, plan your tests, um, and you can, when you start running, you can see the progress in real time. Okay, so try to use those tools. Also, automate. Okay, it's 2014. There's no reason why we should be doing most of our testing should be manual. Okay, so automate as much as you can. This is a great time to automate your test cases with the test data that you have discovered. Now, as you can see that there's a fork join. Everything that comes from the development side, all the tests, all the reviews that have come from the QA side, they all come together. And once QA executes, there are test results that come out. So those test results also have to be reviewed, which are depicted here in this box. Okay. So as you can see, I mean, there are a lot of reviews. All these boxes that you see here, they are review boxes. Okay, they are not. We are not talking about actually writing the design or writing the test cases. We are talking only about the reviews that are needed. If you follow these simple tricks, it will bring a lot of agility in your process, both dev and QA. So I hope this was useful. Thank you very much for listening.